Geek podcast. Today is Wednesday, October 28th, 2015, and my name is Adam, and I'm joined by my good friend Logan.
Hello.
What up? And you're listening to us on the N.FM, our new home. And man, we got a lot of news today. A lot of video game news.
Yeah, we do.
Oh yeah, we've had some fun, exciting things this week with Destiny. Speaking of, if you haven't listened to our special Destiny podcast, go do that. It should be the one right before this, in our podcast list, on your iTunes app or whatnot. But yeah, we got a fun, exciting. Somehow it was a surprise Halloween themed event this week. And it kind of went along with our reading, Colder and Archie, Afterlife with Archie. But yeah, man. But before we get into all that and the movie news and TV news and all that, how was your week, man?
Good. It's kind of been the same old work, Destiny, maybe sleep.
Right. Yeah, man. The Destiny's creeping into my sleep schedule, and I really got to change that. So sometimes I wake up and I'm like, why did I do that for so long last night? Why was I in that raid or whatever? Man, it's but it's a good problem to have, I guess.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, it's definitely one that's use a little course correcting, but it's fine. But yeah, man, same here. It's just a lot of Destiny. I tried to play some Uncharted and actually played some Assassin's Creed, believe it or not. And I actually really enjoyed it, and I'll talk about that in a little bit.
Nice.
Yeah, but it's Assassin's Creed Syndicate. I was actually just playing Destiny with a buddy, and he was like, "Dude, IGN gave it a 9. GameSpot gave it a 9. All these sites are, really saying that they fixed a lot of problems that were with the last game, and that they actually shipped it okay." Actually, better than okay. It's actually really well. There's, as far as I can tell, there's no bugs, nothing. Which is good. Good for them. Good for Ubisoft. But yeah, we'll talk about all that in a little bit. I also saw a movie. We could talk about Bridge of Spies.
Okay.
Yeah, have you heard of it?
I have. Yeah, it's Spielberg's new one, right?
Yep.
With
it's
Tom Hanks.
Exactly. Yeah, it's this is one of those Spielberg films. It seems like he does like a time period movie, and he does like a big action flick, and then a time period movie, and then like a big summer blockbuster. So this was, the time period movie, and it was cool. It was interesting. I went with some family, and we went and sat down in the theater, and it was like they just bust in the retirement home. But hey, I would absolutely rather watch a film with that crowd than kids.
Any time.
Oh,
Absolutely.
I hate when you get a group of kids who all think they're Tom Green, and none of them know who Tom Green is. But they all think they're Tom Green, and they're screaming and they're yelling and they're trying to hit on their girlfriends. And I remember that age, but it's like I'd rather not. I'd actually pay more to sit with an older crowd that, I liked how they clapped at the end, and they said, when an audience makes noises at the right appropriate time.
Yeah.
Where they're like, oh, disgust noises and stuff like that. It's like, that's cool. That's what I want to hear. And so it was interesting. And I'm sure a lot of people in the audience, they remember the Cold War. And it was a really interesting film. I really enjoy it. I recommend it. If it's one of those films like you go in, it just tells a story. It does what it's supposed to do. It's not crazy suspenseful or anything like that. It just tells the story, that I actually was never aware of. So it was pretty cool.
Nice.
Yeah, and I mean, this is just getting ready for Spielberg's Ready Player One. Like, I can't wait for that film to come out. But yeah, Tom Hanks knocks it out of the park like he always does. And I don't know, I thought it was really well done. But yeah, so that was my week. Let's get into some movie news here. You want to take the first one?
Sure. We talked last week about Doug Liman from The Bourne Identity. I think it was Identity. That he was in talks to be the new Gambit director.
Right.
It turns out that Fox is also trying to court either Joe Cornish from Attack the Block and Shane Black, who directed Iron Man 3.
Oh, I would like Shane Black.
That would be interesting. Joe Cornish is an interesting choice. Have you gotten around to see Attack the Block yet?
I have, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's interesting how much talent is coming from that little film.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
John Boyega, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And one of the other guys was just in Flash last night. He played
Oh, really?
Jax, yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't recognize him, but
Yeah.
man, we'll get to that Flash episode. The last few minutes really was like, what? For real, like, yeah. That's you're absolutely right. There is a lot of talent coming from that little film. I loved the creatures in that film.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they were just really bizarre looking, really cool looking creatures. Yeah, so yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know who. I think I'd rather have Shane Black. I don't know why. I really dug Iron Man 3. And was it? He did Kiss Kiss Bang Bang too, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Right. And that's what I think. That's what I remember reading an article where Marvel said this is why Robert Downey Jr. is Iron Man. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang.
Yeah.
Because they saw that he could still act, and that he could still, present himself as a professional in that world. And it was kind of they looked at that and they're like, all right, well, let's do Iron Man. But yeah, so that's cool. I mean, Gambit, I'm so I've kind of been I don't know. Gambit doesn't excite me anymore. This movie has just been we're gonna get this guy, we're gonna get this guy, we're gonna do it. We got Channing Tatum, we don't got Channing Tatum. It's kind of going through the ringer here.
Yeah, it's a weird process for this thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We did get some Power Ranger news. You can take this because the names I'm. Yeah.
R.J. Seiler from Me and Earl and the Dying Girl has been cast as the Blue Ranger, and Ludi Lin from Marco Polo was cast as the Black Ranger.
Yeah.
And I like how this one isn't being, shall we say, insensitive.
Oh yeah, that's a lot of people made that those posts on Facebook, and I agree with I'm glad that they've gone away with that insensitive they've color swapped or whatnot. So I think that's great.
Yeah, it's just like, hey, we're not they don't match.
Oh yeah.
So I love that they're all like completely brand new people. I think that's the perfect direction for it.
Yeah, it's this perfect revamp. It's like you got new characters, you get the same cool suits. Let's go. That's awesome. I think that's really awesome. My buddy who is black, he's like, my favorite growing up was the Blue Ranger. So now when I get to college, dress as him, no one gets to go, why aren't you the Black Ranger? And I thought that's awesome. I was like, that's awesome, Antoine. Yeah. So yeah, I thought that was cool. They're definitely mixing it up. I'm silently excited about the Power Rangers movie.
Well, I mean, it's because this was such a big part of our generation growing up,
Exactly.
And
it's if this is done wrong, it could be very bad, but if it's done right, it could be very good. Like Power Rangers could be a huge success again if they want it to be. So it's I like the direction they're going in.
Totally.
Oh yeah, we got some Star Wars news. Disney announces Force Awakens trailer viewed on YouTube 112 million times in first 24 hours. That has to be a record.
It is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. That's absolutely crazy, man. I can't get enough of that trailer. I don't know about you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you see?
Awesome.
And maybe we should talk about it in the video games. Did you see the Battlefront gameplay launch trailer?
Oh. Man, did I ever.
Jeez, there's no story mode, but that really I like them showing a lot of locations we haven't seen, and a lot of the footage that we've seen.
Yeah.
Especially indoor when you hop up to the Ewok village, and if they don't have Ewoks as a playable race and characters, I don't know. That would be amazing. Imagine being the Ewok flying with the the glider thing that they had and dropping the rocks on stormtroopers' heads.
Do you know how many people would want to play as the Empire just to kill Ewoks if that was the case?
Right, exactly. Or hey, Gungans, you can play the battle droids versus the Gungans. People would want to kill them.
Me thinking they're not going in that direction. Betcha.
Exactly, but I don't know that. Why not? Why not add that?
Because they're trying to stay as far away from the prequels as possible.
That's true. You're right. That's true. But yeah, man. So I don't know. I thought that was really cool. They're really knocking it out of the park with advertising for Star Wars. Like I've seen, like even like the Walmart commercials where it's the grandpa on the porch with the robe, and he's explaining how Jedi wear robes and he wears robes, so he must be wise. And like, or the one, and this is my favorite, where the guy is watching Star Wars. He tries to get his little girl into it, and she like, no, that's not for me. I don't want to watch it. But yeah, and then it shows him again later on in life watching it, and she's like looking from afar, like maybe she snuck out of bed and she's watching it down the hallway, and she's really excited, but she won't let him see it. And then one day he catches her in the middle of the aisle with the lightsaber in midair, and it looks like that classic Luke scene that you see on the posters and whatnot. And all of a sudden he looks at her and he goes, "I am your father." And she has this big, oh yeah, she has this big grin on her face, like, yes, now you know that I do love this. And I thought, this is perfect. Like, you can tell people in advertisement waiting for years to do Star Wars kind of related advertising.
Oh, are you kidding?
Yeah, and where they're knocking out of the park, that Battlefront trailer where he's playing with the toys and whatnot, like that's our childhood. Like, whoever wrote that, they totally get it. That's not coming from a, how can I make this trailer, nostalgic? It's like, nope, I'm just gonna write down what happened as a kid.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they're hitting it on all cylinders there. Yeah, we got some other movie news here. Did you see who they casted as the villain in John Wick 2?
I did, and this was an interesting choice.
I like it.
It's gonna be interesting. I like seeing Common get more involved with things.
Yep. So yeah, Common's cast as a villain. That's really all the news they gave out of it. So I can't wait. Yeah, John Wick was a surprise hit for me. When someone told me, "Hey, you should go see John Wick," I think it was out on DVD at the time. They were like, "Hey, you should go get John Wick. That's a really good movie. Go to the Redbox or whatever." And I was like, "Huh? John Wick? What?" I think it was you maybe that told me. You were like, "You got to see this film. It's really good."
Yeah.
And it was. So the fact they're doing a sequel and the fact that they got some good talent in it, I'm psyched. Let's see here. Let's kind of skip around. Did you see M. Night Shyamalan's movie that he's doing with James McAvoy? Basically, it got a title called Split, and it's out January 20th, 2017. Wasn't a M. Night Shyamalan movie that just came out?
The Visit.
The Visit. Okay, I thought it got good reviews.
I don't care. I'm sorry. I will not go see anything with Shyamalan's name stuck on it. I just
even
won't.
if it's got good reviews.
I don't care. There's so many other movies out right now. I can afford to leave some by the wayside.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't know. I liked Signs and whatnot. But yeah. All right. Well, we'll be right back. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. We'll see you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and man, yeah, let's see here. We got, we just talked about M. Night Shyamalan. I don't know. I'm kind of excited to see what comes out of it. I don't know. It's probably going to be bad, but we'll see. We got some. Did you see the Indiana Jones news? What the producer said?
I saw the headline. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So Frank Marshall, I guess he told an issue of Total Film that there was no plans to replace Harrison Ford in the role. They're not doing the Bond thing. Basically, we're going to call somebody else. Indiana Jones are not going to do that. And so basically when he was asked, he was like, we'll figure it out. So that I'm glad to hear that. I'm glad that they're not just going to put another actor in his shoes and call him Indiana Jones. Hopefully they go the route of whoever is in his next film kind of has to take over the franchise. That's what I'm thinking. He has to be his understudy. They'll probably make a little joke about, yeah, my son didn't pan out or something like that.
Oh,
I don't know.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
Right. So who knows? Yeah, we all kind of think maybe Chris Pratt would probably be good taking over the series because, hey, he's doing good with all those kind of films right now.
Yeah, right.
He's got Jurassic Park, he's got Guardians, and why not Indiana Jones? I would love it, But yeah, so I thought that was funny news. Did you see the Deadpool stuff they were talking about, Colossus?
Just briefly, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, it's basically said they're trying to get him as close to the comics as possible. That he's going to have the Russian accent. And I guess he was just a really big fan of Colossus. Now, this is tied to the X-Men universe, right? Or is it its own entity?
I don't know.
He didn't have a Russian accent in the other movies.
Right.
Right? So, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this all ties in with the rest of the Fox's universe. You would think it would tie in, as a part of their their movies, but who knows? I don't even think I saw Colossus not, all steel anyway. I don't even know how he plays a part in the film.
I don't either.
Maybe I'm missing something, but yeah. So I don't know. I thought that was cool. I'm glad to hear that they're doing him exactly like the comics, and not going away. Yeah, man. All right. Well, let's move on to some TV news. Let's see here. You take the first one.
Okay. There was a bit of news. They were talking to David Goyer about whatever the show he's working on. Is it Da Vinci's Demons that he's working on now, I think?
Okay.
Or something like that. And they managed to tease a little information about the new Krypton series that they're working on for Syfy. And he talked about how it's going to take place 200 years before the events of Man of Steel. So this is going to be like Krypton in its heyday kind of thing, like the peak of civilization.
Right. So I mean, it's pretty much just going to be a sci-fi show about, a futuristic type planet with a futuristic type society.
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. That just doesn't excite me at all.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like it's going to be Rome on sci-fi in space.
Right. Exactly.
In a sense, yeah.
Right, and you'll get hints of the Kal-El family or whatever, probably. I don't know. It reminds me of what is that? What was that show? Blood and Steel. The Blood and what was it? It was the Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, Blood and Chrome.
Blood and Chrome or whatever, where it was like this doesn't have anything to do with it, but it does. But it doesn't. It's its own thing, but it does. If that makes sense. Like I don't know. Just I don't know if I'm gonna like that. Yeah, the Krypton stuff always bored me in the Superman stories. Like all of that time period always bored the hell out of me. I didn't want anything to do with that. They somehow made it a little bit exciting in Man of Steel. I liked how they spent a lot of time there, but I liked kind of how it was. It wasn't boring and. I don't know. I just was really bored with the previous films the way they did Krypton.
Right. Well, I mean, it was always we are all science-y and science is king of everything. And then when you had a militaristic uprising, it freaked these people out. Like they didn't know guns still existed or anything like that. So to see, here's Jor-El, who's kind of the big science brain, and yet he's not afraid to beat the crap out of somebody. Like that was a nice, refreshing sort of change of pace.
Oh yeah. No, I really liked it, and the actor who played Michael Shannon?
Yes, who played Zod? Yeah.
Yeah, like that whole beginning thing to Man of Steel, like he killed it. I don't know. I really like him as an actor. I liked him on Boardwalk Empire.
He was good. He was good in 8 Mile too.
I don't remember him. I haven't seen 8 Mile in forever. What did he play? Was he like the stepdad or something?
Yeah, that's who he played.
That's what it was.
That was them people running. He was what? He was in 8 Mile?
Right, exactly.
And Anthony Mackie played the villain.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so you had Zod
that's right.
and Sam Wilson in it.
Yeah, I can see his face now. That's right. Yeah, that's funny. Oh, wow. That would have never crossed my mind. Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. Now when this dropped, I really liked this trailer. Jessica Jones, the first trailer dropped. What do you think of it?
I'm excited. Like this is good. Like for people who thought Daredevil was dark, man, you ain't seen nothing yet.
Oh yeah. It's. I can't wait. Like this trailer, all the little things they've done beforehand, where it was like little teaser, whatever. I was like, okay. But this really, you got a better idea of what the story is going to be about, and just enough so it's not like bad. It's not telling you the whole story. It's just, this is what this is about. And I thought it was really well done. I liked how they're holding back the Purple Man. They're not. They've showed him briefly for like God, probably a total of 2 or 3 seconds in the whole trailer. But I liked that. I like that they're kind of keeping him at bay. You see all the purple throughout the trailer, and just the hints at what he can do. And actually, I think they actually flat out say his ability, but if you're none the wiser, you probably didn't realize it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was really well done, and I can't wait for it. Yeah, man. Let's see here. What other news we got? Wait, wasn't this like a controversy a few years ago? This Golden Globes?
Yeah, because when they had Ricky Gervais on like the first time, and everybody freaked out because he didn't care, and he did what everybody, what people say they want a host to do, but like not do, like they want him to not be show busy and not kiss everybody's ass. So when he got up there and did exactly that, people lost their minds. They were like, "You can't do that. You can't say that.
You can't make fun of us."
Exactly, and that like can't really make fun of us. Like it wasn't the normal roasting. Like he got kind of vicious about it, which I didn't care. But they invited him back for the next 2 years because the ratings were so good. But by the third time in a row, people were like, "Yeah, this whole Ricky Gervais thing's just old now."
Yeah.
And so now they're getting him back for next year. And I guess because there's nobody, like, call me, I'll do it.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, exactly. No, I like Ricky Gervais. I think he's hilarious, and I don't understand what they expected out of him by hiring him.
Yeah.
It's always funny to me when these channels or whoever, where they hire people where that's their stick, that's what they do. That's how they make their money. And then they do what they're paid to do, and they're like, "Wait a second, you crossed the line."
Exactly. It's kind of like it in a sense, in a slightly less dramatic sense than this example. Like it was the whole thing with Affleck and Gilbert Gottfried, when they were like, he made horrible, insensitive jokes, and people went, "Yeah, that's kind of his deal."
So wait, what did Affleck do?
Well, they remember when they fired him because he was the Duck. He voiced the Duck.
Affleck. Gotcha.
The insurance.
I thought you
not
said
the Batman.
Ben Affleck. I'm like, I understand Godfrey, but what about Affleck?
Yeah, no, the insurance company, not the Batman.
Right. I'm like, wait, what did he do? Yeah. No, I totally agree. They hired him on, and then when he makes those comments, which that's what he does, they should have looked at his Twitter account, which most companies do. Most companies, they're on your Twitter before they hire you.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? Yeah, I don't know what they were thinking.
Yeah.
They just wanted the voice, I guess.
Well, unfortunately, you get the person that goes with it too sometimes.
Exactly. Let's see here. Did you see they've shown the first image of Constantine on the Arrow?
Yeah, and he looks like Constantine.
He looks exactly like him.
Which is good because it's the same. I was glad they brought Matt Ryan over.
Oh yeah.
I was glad they kept him. They weren't like, "Well, it's recast," because I know they were. And it's weird because I know it was Amell who was really high up on him. Like he was so on board with Constantine from the beginning. He wanted a crossover, and then when they canceled the show, he was like, "You have to get," like he went to war over that practically.
He does. Yeah, he fights for these people, and I really like it. Oh yeah, and I can't wait. Did they say how many episodes he's gonna be in?
Just one, I think.
Oh, come on.
Well,
they got to have him reoccurring.
That's as many as we know. But
they need to put him in Legends of Tomorrow. That would be a really interesting mix to have him with those characters.
That'd be a bizarre team to put him on. I concur. I think it'd
Why
be awesome.
not, man? They're time traveling. You get time traveling. You get the supernatural. That would be, oh man, he needs to be in that show. And I'm sure it's already past where they've already shot what they need to shoot and wrote what they wrote. But season 2, there you go.
Yeah, right.
Did you see who they casted as Mr. Freeze in Gotham?
I did, yeah. Didn't they? They announced that just this morning, didn't they?
Yep. Yeah. Nathan Darrow.
Yeah.
Yeah. He plays Frank Underwood's bodyguard in House of Cards. That's where you might know him from.
Yeah.
Yeah, apparently he's going to be Victor Fries on Gotham. So if he's that old when Bruce Wayne is that young, well, I guess Mr. Freeze was always kind of old.
Yeah, but I mean, well, 20 years. I mean, it could work. Yeah, Victor
Right.
Freeze being.
I
I
have
mean,
to.
he'd wind up being what, like in his early 50s, probably, going by the show's
That's
progression.
true. That's true. You're right.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
that that would
I
work.
gotta keep reminding myself, this is its own Batman story.
Yeah.
This is its own thing. The ages can be different. Who cares? It's its own thing. And I think once I keep telling myself that, I'm okay with the decisions they make because this season of Gotham has been amazing. Now, I need to be a little honest here. I didn't actually see this week's episode. I'm caught
Ah.
up on every other show but that. But this season has been knocking it out of the park.
Yeah, I've loved some of the twists.
Oh yeah.
I'm
Oh
still
yeah.
I'm still kind of reeling over the one from a couple weeks ago,
Yeah,
where
yeah,
just
exactly. The
I
way they listen to the audience. The audience was
yeah.
like, "This is all getting cookie cutter. We know what's going to happen," and they were like, "You know what? You think you know what's going to happen? Bam!
Surprise.
We just flip the game board on you. You know?
Yeah, and it was crazy because especially like in that episode how they built it up the other way. Like,
Oh
oh,
yeah.
your legacy will be this and this, and you're like, oh, okay, so we are stuck with it. Nope.
Oh yeah, it was the bait and switch, and
Yeah,
it really worked. You know, as an audience, you were thinking, nah, they wouldn't do that to him, and they wouldn't do that to her, and then it's like, whoa, what? They made you look left, and then they went right.
yeah, big time.
But yeah, man. So all right, well, we're gonna take a break. When we get back, we have a lot of video game news to talk about. And you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And before we get into the video game news, there was one thing I did skip that dropped this morning. I guess they did confirm Chris Pine for Wonder Woman. Did you see this?
That was weeks ago, man.
Really?
Yeah, we talked about that.
No, I mean, well, we talked about it. Now it's confirmed that he was rumored to be in it.
No,
Like
I
this
think
article says, it's confirmed that
check the date on your article, because I mean they
October 28th, 2015. Chris
really,
Pine confirmed for Wonder Woman.
because I know that there
Talking
was.
to Premiere Magazine, Chris Pine confirmed that he will be in Wonder Woman with Gal Gadot. It was just rumored that he was going to be in it before.
Well, but
That's what this article is saying.
well, because I mean the thing was that like they weren't sure if he was going to be Steve Trevor or if he was going to be the new Hal Jordan. But then there was a thing that came out like, no, he is Steve Trevor.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This it was bleeding cool. They just released it today, this morning. So yeah, I mean, I remember we were talking about it, but I didn't know it was actually he confirmed it. But yeah, I guess that's what he's telling him. He said he can't really talk about it. He is playing Steve Trevor, and that's it. He's like, yeah, I'm not allowed to tell you anything else except for that. But yeah, so I don't know. All right, let's get into some video game news. Did you see that? Yeah, I know we talked about it a little bit earlier. The Destiny Halloween themed.
Yeah, that stuff's
Yeah.
been addictively cool.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess this week. When was it? Tuesday they dropped it.
Yeah, it would have been.
Yeah. What you can do is, last year all they had were basically you could put on pumpkin heads, which were random drops throughout the week or two of Halloween. But now what they have is I think it's called it's not Halloween, it's day or the Festival of the Lost.
Yeah.
Because technically everyone in Destiny is dead. The return from the dead. You're dead and then you rise back.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, so basically what it is when you get to the tower, they give you a package, they give you a mask. And what's cool this year is you go around and you get candy from everyone. I thought it was funny that what's her face gave you raisins.
Eris gives you a little box of raisins, and I love the description for it.
Yep.
'Cause it just says why, but it's great. It's like but I mean why?
Yep. Oh yeah. I thought it was fantastic. And then of course they decorate the tower with all Halloween stuff. You can hear screaming and you can hear like classic Halloween music.
That's my favorite part of this.
Oh yeah. It reminded me of like that Disney like a boom 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 like Halloween music or
Yeah.
whatever. And the bones, where they but anyway, so but yeah, so you get like these packages. You fill it with you get candy by trick or treating around the tower or killing enemies. You fill up your bag. They give you another bag full of masks. and they're blue masks that you can get to legendary if you got like paper glue or whatever, so you can actually keep them throughout the year. If they're still blue by the end of the event, then they're gone.
Yeah.
But one I really want to get legendary is the blue skull mask that's on fire.
Oh, I've seen
That
that
looks
one.
cool.
Yeah.
Which ones have you gotten?
What did I get? I got the Cryptarch and God, what else did I get? I've got two different engram masks. I've got the legendary and the uncommon.
Nice,
And
nice. Yeah.
And I've got what's the thing at the end of Vault of Glass? It was
Atheon.
Atheon, that's the one.
Yep.
That's
Yeah,
huge mask too.
Yeah, it is. It is. I like Skullus' mask. It reminds me of Predator. I basically have them all except one of the engrams, the Queen, and the Skull. And I want to get the Skull. But yeah, and so basically, also they released 3 dances. One of them was the Monster Mash. The other one was Boo. And then the other one was the Thriller Dance.
Because of course it was. How could you not?
Oh yeah. And of course you can buy the emotes. You can buy the packages that give you the legendary masks. So if you want them all, kind of just buy like 9 packages and you'll probably get them. But yeah, no, this is why I love Destiny. You're not going to get an experience like this on a console because this is an MMO experience. I keep going back to World of Warcraft when we talk about Destiny, but this is what makes these kind of games fun, is that it's new surprises that, this could have been data farmed, but no one did it. No one data farmed this. This was just dropped on everybody.
Yeah.
And it was like, here you go. Here's a bunch of new content, and this is happening weekly. If they can keep this up somehow, oh my God. Like, they're not going to get me away. Just when I think I'm like, I'm going to go play some Uncharted. We talked about this week, actually. Even you said the same thing.
Yeah.
You're like, as soon as you think you're going to go play some Uncharted, or I was going to go play some Assassin's Creed this week. I was going to get a little bit away from Destiny. It pulls you right back in. It goes, no, we got you for the next 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So, yeah, man, I'm having a lot of fun with Destiny. I'm trying to get the, something of Malice or whatever, where you got to collect all the calcium fragments in the Dreadnought.
Yeah, Touch of Malice, I think it was.
Touch of Malice, yeah. You have to get 45 of them, and I'm going through YouTube to find all of them, and some of them, like, basically there's and I won't go too much into this because I've gone too much into Destiny anyway. There's one where basically it's in a chest in a far off room in the Dreadnought that you have to go to one specific spot, stand in that spot. You get this thing all over you where it makes you smell or whatever, and then you have 60 seconds to book it from that spot to the other side of the Dreadnought, and it's at a part where it's one of those jumping puzzles where you have to pull out your ghost, you see the platform, you jump to the next one, and it's almost impossible unless you have, like, all your agility has to be maxed out. You can't miss one step. You can't miss one spot. And then when you get to that chest, a whole bunch of ultras come at you immediately. So it's challenging. So it's fun though. I mean, you need that weapon for hard mode.
Yeah.
So it's I don't know. It's been a lot of fun. I could go on and on about Destiny, and we have.
And we did.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. If you want to listen to our Destiny theme podcast, it dropped earlier this week. And we might do one way later down the road, especially probably I think when Destiny 2 comes out next year. That might be another good time to revisit it and do like a Destiny theme podcast, because I hope this game just gets better and better and it doesn't fade out. And it doesn't look like it is. It looks like they're doing all the right things. So that's cool. But yeah, let's get into some more video game news. Let's see here. Did you see the Darth Maul stuff?
I did. I didn't know this had ever been a thing. I'm kind of bummed that this wasn't a thing.
Yeah. I'll read the article. This Redfly Studios head Dan Broth says canceled stealth action game centered around Darth Maul brings being shopped to EA in hopes of getting made. says Red Fly, and open to reskinning the game to suit other characters if necessary. So yeah, they were planning on this game, I guess, with LucasArts, and it just never came to fruition. So they're trying. EA holds the rights, so of course that's who they're going to. I more in the article they talk about how they're building a demo to kind of present to them, and I would love that. Like it's great that we're doing a lot of the you know original trilogy and afterwards. And I know, like you said earlier, they don't want to go to the prequels, but I think there's some cool stuff there. And I think as a Star Wars fan, I don't like how people blindly say that never happened or that's not my Star Wars. They're so dramatic about it. And I get it. I totally do. I'm obsessed just as much as you are. But Darth Maul is one of the coolest things about the prequels.
Agreed.
And it was a shame. That was one of the reasons why people don't like what happened in the prequels, is because they killed in the first episode two of the best characters that could have been just data mined. You know what I mean? With rich lore. And
they killed one.
What do you mean?
They didn't kill Darth Maul.
Oh yeah, that's right. He wasn't killed, but yeah, no, it's. In the film universe before it came to the Clone Wars, he was dead. So that's what I meant. But
right.
But yeah, so it's there was a lot to that. And I mean, technically, I guess now Darth Maul is still somewhere.
Yeah, as far as and because Clone Wars is official canon, so as far as anybody's concerned, he's still out there somewhere.
Oh yeah, I'm sure he will be in the new Rebel show, which actually the second season came out a few weeks ago. So I need to catch up with that. We're like 2 episodes behind, and apparently it's got Ahsoka in it and whatnot, and it's got some of the old clones. They go and visit them because they need help with something. And
nice.
Yeah. So like, what's his name? I forget the main character.
Rex.
Well, no, I don't.
Oh, not okay,
yeah. In the new series, Jade, I think his name is.
Okay.
What's his? I don't know. It's the Jedi in the new Rebel series, the older one. He has beef with the clone troopers. So when they go and see them and he realizes what they are, and I think it actually is Rex or one of them, he's like, wow, beef immediately, pulls his lightsaber, is like, no, these guys killed everyone I know. And so, yeah, and they're like, wait, no, it wasn't us. We're the good guys. We weren't a part of that. We were retired by then, or whatever it was. I don't know. But yeah, so, I don't know. I'm excited for that. But yeah, so that was some Battle Sith Lords. Let's jump around for a second because we're going to get into the Paris Gaming Week probably in a little bit. But before that, did you see that Harmonix got in a little bit of trouble?
Yeah, I saw this.
Yeah, their employees were found posting Rock Band 4 user reviews on Amazon to boost it.
Stupid, and they didn't need to. That's the thing. Like, Rock Band 4 is a solid game. It's a great return to the franchise. And
you know what, though? Here's the thing. I don't mind that any employee posts a review for anything. I'm sure the company does, and that's something that, of course, they released a statement saying, we have discussed this with the employees. We have just, they were, they didn't feel that they didn't know what they were doing wrong. They didn't think it was anything they were doing wrong. They thought it was okay. And here's the thing. I would have been okay with it if they said, I'm an employee of if they put that in their review. They said, hey, I work for Harmonix, but I love this game. This is one of my favorite games this year, so at least the audience reading it. And that's the thing about Amazon and Yelp. And I think South Park did an episode about it a few weeks ago. There's no gatekeepers to these things.
Exactly.
Anyone could put anything, and that's the problem. Actually, everyone's a critic. Look at us.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's like that's something that the employees, of course, will have to deal with Harmonix. I'm sure Harmonix doesn't want them doing that, and I'm sure their statement, of course, like they said, is they really, I guess, a few of them did change it to say we're Harmonix employees, and then a few of the rest deleted theirs. Of course, they were probably super embarrassed. But yeah, I mean, you should be proud of your product. You should be, hey, this is something I made, and this is something I enjoyed, and this is something I put my blood, sweat, and tears in. And as long as you present it like that, like I worked on this, then I don't have a problem with that. Go ahead, as long as it's not 60 reviews of
yeah.
Well, that's how I think of these little, shops that I go, or these little restaurants I go to, where I'm like, the service is horrible. How are the Yelp reviews good? And then you see there's only 4 Yelp reviews, and 3 of them are clearly employees.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
that's why I'm against this. Like I hear you when it's like you should be proud of your work and
Uh-huh.
everything, but I think I think that you shouldn't be allowed to put, like, if you wanted to tweet how awesome you thought the game was, I have no problem with that. But
Mhm.
if you're engaging in reviewing it on a site where those reviews are aggregated, where that
Right.
matters. When it's
Right.
like, oh,
Like,
this gets boosted because the employees said so much. That's where I draw the line there.
well, see, and that's the thing. I mean, I work for a company that, I can't talk about online. And when someone tries to say something to me about it online, I don't go anywhere near it. I don't go anywhere near it because
Right.
it's not something I'm allowed to do. So yeah,
Exactly.
this is something they'll have to deal with. But well, anyway, we'll be right back again. You're listening to We Geek podcast on the N.FM, and we'll see you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we're deep into video game news. And this segment, we're pretty much going to be talking about Paris Games Week and a lot of news coming from it. So let's get into it. You want to take? Yeah, you take one of the first one. Well, first, should we hold off on? What were you most excited about when you saw all this news?
Uh, I mean, I think it's kind of the obvious one. Like, I mean, there was some. Are we gonna talk about things in general or like brand new news that I was excited about? Because there's
Things in general. What did you come out of it thinking like, oh, that's awesome news?
uh, I love the Battlefront trailer. I think
Yeah.
that was probably my favorite part.
Oh yeah, the Battlefront trailer. There was some new games, and I really need to pull up which ones they were. Because I think of them in my head, and I thought that looked cool. We'll get into all of it, I guess. So yeah, we'll get into it in a second. Um, but it was No Man's Sky's release date was probably my favorite thing.
That's probably the biggest chunk of news, really.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. But yeah, let's just kind of take it from the top then. Let's see here. We got yeah, the Star Wars trailer. We kind of talked about it before. It looked amazing. It looked, when people are like, I don't know if I'm gonna get it. I don't know if I have a lot of content, and I'm one of those people. That's what I've been thumping the whole time. But I'm gonna get it, and it looks exciting as hell. I was, there was a bit of news that you said a few weeks ago that really did get me excited, that I didn't realize because when I saw that there was 4 planets, I thought, oh crap, there's 4 maps. No, 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 no. There's like 16 or some maps,
Yeah, they're just
which
they're just on 4 planets. Yeah.
they're just on 4 planets. So that means we're going to get some maps where there's close corridors, and that's what I saw in the trailer. There's maps where it looks like you're inside of area, kind of like Hoth, where you're inside of the base. It looked like you're going to be inside of a base on other planets, like Endor and stuff like that, and that's really cool. I did that just for some reason didn't cross my mind. I'm like, oh, this is gonna be the same 4 maps. This is gonna get boring, but man, it's fever pitch right now. When is the release date for that?
November. It's in like a month, like almost exactly.
Okay, yeah, I think it's November 17th. Yes, it's November 17th. It's exactly a month before the new Star Wars movie.
Right.
Um, oh my God. So
So what
let's
is
see here.
that?
This
3
28th.
weeks?
It is 1, 2, 3 weeks away.
Yeah. Wow. Damn.
So
Coming
yeah,
up
it's
on
on
it.
Tuesday that week. So I know what day I'm going to be taking off. I'm actually going to take a few days off that week. Oh man, I cannot wait for that game to come out. Yeah, Destiny's going to have to sit aside for a little bit during that period of time. And Fallout too, man. Oh God, when's Fallout come out?
Same time. Same
Yeah,
time frame at least.
let's see here. Fallout 4 release date. Yeah, November 10th. Oh my
The week
God.
before, yeah. So you'll have a week to do whatever you want in Fallout.
Jesus. Yeah, and if we could take a little no, actually, well, I'll save that news for later. But yeah, dude, I cannot be more excited about Fallout. And Battlefront. Let's see here. Oh yeah, they showed off, of course, Boba Fett. We've kind of seen him before.
That was a fun little joke too.
Yes, yes, exactly. And that gets back to my point I was talking about where Boba Fett was, we think he died in the movies. No, they really hint it. And have you read that book, the Aftermath book?
But
Star
parts
Wars?
of it. Yeah.
I need to read that. That's been on my mind about wanting to read it for a while now. I just haven't got to it because of Destiny. But yeah, no, I want to read that book because before the movie comes out because I want to know more about Poe's parents and whatnot. One thing I didn't like about the trailer is I thought Palpatine's voice was really off.
Well,
I
I mean that
I could
was.
I couldn't tell it was him at first. I'm like I knew they were trying to go for Palpatine in my mind, but I thought this sounds odd. They could have gotten someone better. I don't know. I just thought it was a bit off. Everything else was just so exciting though. Instantly turned into an eight-year-old kid when I saw it though. Think of like Animorphs. That was me, just to my 8-year-old self. But yeah, man, it was really cool. I got some other news from it. Did you see the Street Fighter news?
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, they dropped and they didn't just bring back because they've been slowly announcing like new characters and returning characters. They announced Dalsim will be returning, but he's gone like the full Yogi look, the turban, beard, whole bit.
Yeah.
It's a good look.
Oh yeah, yeah. It definitely looked cool. I know he's a fan favorite, and they said they have like 6 new playable characters.
Yeah, I've seen. What have we seen so far? Like like 2 or 3? I think there's been a couple new ones,
Yeah,
like
new.
brand
I say
new.
I say playable characters. That doesn't even make sense. Yeah, no, 6 brand new characters. I guess is what I was trying to say. But yeah, I thought it looks cool, and it's crazy. It's not coming out on Xbox.
Yeah, it's a PlayStation exclusive.
PlayStation exclusive. Well, PlayStation and PC.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
yeah. But I guess console exclusive for them.
yeah.
But yeah, no, it looked really cool.
And they announced a release date, February 16th for it.
Oh, there we go.
So that'll be
Nice, nice.
not too far away.
Right now, they're probably going to do another beta because the last one bombed so bad, right?
Well, 'cause like nobody knew about it until like I saw the news articles on the day it ended. That
Yeah.
was how I found out about it. They were like, "Hey, the beta ran from Thursday until an hour ago. It was awesome." I was like, what? I wanted
Right.
to get in
Yeah.
on that. Damn.
And it was if you pre-ordered it too, right?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, okay. See, I thought it was a pre-order only.
No, I don't. Now I don't know because again, like I said, I didn't know anything about it until it was over.
Oh, okay.
But like
Yeah,
that was.
I like it when it's not just pre-order. Like the Star Wars one, perfect. Get people because if you already pre-ordered it, you got the people already buying it.
Exactly.
What's the point on giving? I mean, I guess the point of doing a beta is to make sure the game can play, but it's like no, it should be a beta slash demo. Like
Exactly.
get your sink in, get your teeth sunk in here, and then you might play it and go, wow, this is really fun. I'm gonna put the money down for it. But but yeah, let's see here. We got Battleborn, upcoming Gearbox title, getting beta next year.
Yep.
What'd you think about that?
I have not followed this game at all. I have,
Yeah,
this is one of those things where I was like, okay, that's news.
right, exactly. This is one of those where it's like just what do you call it? It's kind. It reminds me of the first person shooter Blizzard's doing this year as well. I can't think of the name of that one either, but it's basically just like a first person shooter group of teams. Kind of like an Unreal type game, right?
Right.
Trying to remember this one from Paris Game this week, but yeah, I'm right there with you. I haven't been paying any attention to it. These are the same people who did oh god, my mind's going blank right now.
Borderlands, right?
Borderlands, that's it. Yeah, yeah. So the mechanics should be good with it. Uh, let's see the next one.
Overwatch is the game you're looking for.
Overwatch, that's it. Yeah, it's
And that beta
Battleborn.
just started, actually.
Yeah, it did. I saw some of my friends are in it. I was totally jealous.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. But this next one, did you see Boundless?
Yeah, that it's more like the art, like we're seeing more of this art style now, like the No Man's Sky kind of art style.
Yep.
And okay, like that was all it showed was like, hey, I'm a thing walking around with a hammer and like look at all these places. Okay, like that was it was
Yeah.
pretty.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. It was really pretty. But yeah, they showed the trailers and the environments and little goblins and hammers, and I don't know, it looked cool. Let's see here, what else we got? Matterfall. Oh, I didn't
Yeah,
remember this one.
this is the new game that Housemarque's working on.
Okay.
Their trailer was all was CJ was a CJ trailer. There's no gameplay, but it looked like a sequel to Vanquish. If anybody remembers that from Platinum Games a few years back.
Oh, okay.
Like that's, I mean, it does. It's, I mean, the guy in the suit and everything, like it looks like a straight up sequel.
Oh, okay. Yeah, no, it totally does. Let's see here, what else we got? Oh, and the next bit of news is No Man's Sky. They released a new trailer. And what was the release date? Oh yeah, June 2016.
Yeah, there wasn't a concrete date, but they had a month at least, so that was something.
I was explaining this to some of my friends last night in Destiny because I was like, "Did you guys see some of the news? Did you see this?" And they were like, "No, what's No Man's Sky?" And they remember seeing a trailer or so from E3 or whatnot.
Yeah.
And then I went into detail trying to explain what the game's about and how it works. And I thought I did a pretty good job. And they were like, "That's not real. That can't be real.
Yeah.
There's no way they're doing a game like that."
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah. And they're like, that's what we want from Destiny. I was like, yeah, I know. I was like, you're going to go to a planet. You're going to be able to see fish and wildlife and creatures and dinosaurs. And if you're the first person there, you're the person who discovered them. So if, whoever goes there next, if Rush goes there next, if, FL goes there next, they're going to see that you discovered them. And, there'll be some, there'll be some fighting in the game if you want it. You can be an explorer, or you could go the PvP route and get, put guns on your ships and put whatever, and go that route so you can, fight. Or you can go the route of being an explorer and have heavy armor and rack up the ability to go to planets and explore and take materials over the PvP side. From what I understand is like you can focus on fighting, but you're not going to be a good explorer. You're not going to be able to, that side of the game you won't be strong at. But if you're more of an explorer, you can go to more places and you can do more things. You can be in more environments, but you're probably not going to be a good fighter. So there's give and take, if that makes sense.
Right. And isn't the goal is like to get to the center of the universe, right?
Exactly. Yeah, just get to the center of the universe. You get materials from planets, kind of like Minecraft in a way, but it's not like Minecraft, thank God, where you're not building structures or else you'd have just a bunch of penis planets, you know what I mean? It's going to be like, yeah, you're just going to be an explorer, and you can fight or you can, find new things and go in new environments, and you have to be able to build, certain outfits so you can go deep into a planet's core if you want to, or explore the oceans, or whatever it's so amazing. Like, I can't wait for that game to come out. That's probably, if there's anything that's going to take me off of Destiny, that would be the one. I think that's one I could totally see myself sinking hours into. And wait, is 6 in the morning? What's going on?
Yeah, right, totally.
Yeah. But the only, I mean, I don't think it's a downside, but the multiplayer, you're not going to be able to just go and hang out with your friends. I don't think you're not going to be able to just warp to them or anything like that. It's going to be like, it's more of a single player game with, from what I understand, you can go the entire game without seeing someone.
Well, yeah, it's huge.
Or you could. Right, exactly. Or you could run into people, and that might be the one guy you run into, and you're like, "Oh crap, hello," But it's really exciting. But let's move on to some more news. Drive Club. So I guess they have bikes coming out, or is this like a new expansion or something?
I wasn't sure if it's an expansion or an add-on or like a new, like, sort of low budget title for it. It's called Drive Club Bikes, and they were like, hey, we're announcing this thing, and it's available now.
Oh, okay.
And so it's like, I think it's an add-on. I don't know because I didn't look because I'm not a Drive Club fan.
Okay.
So I didn't do the research on it, so I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay, yeah, no, yeah, me either. There is one bit of news that I don't see here on our list that I kind of wanted to talk about. Did you see the gameplay walkthrough of Horizon Zero Dawn?
No.
Oh, okay. Wow. Yeah, it was really good. But actually, we'll actually take a break. We'll talk about that when we get back. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we still got a lot of video game news to talk about. Before the break, I mentioned they did this like walkthrough or whatnot of Horizon Zero Dawn, and it was just a really cool here's our game. We want to show you what's on your HUD. What when you're walking around, what this means, what this compass means. It was very much like Skyrim in a way, like how it had the compass and whatnot. I don't know, it's just really cool. They go into a lot of detail of what you're doing in the world and why you're there, and the weaknesses of these robot dinosaurs and the stealthness of the game. It was just really cool. You see him take on like 3 different kind of dinosaurs. One of the smaller ones where you're in the bushes and you're in this like flower field and you have to use stealth to take him down. So he doesn't, if the rest of the herd hears you, they will swarm you. They show this one where he's taking down this huge dinosaur, but it's very slow. I don't know. And then the one where it's almost like a T-Rex pretty much. And it's like, he explains and he shows you there's 98 different panels on this dinosaur, and that's a lot of them mean different things, the panels, and what the weaknesses are, and you have to pay attention in the fight to know the weak spots to these kind of dinosaurs, what panels you need to rip off. And he basically said every panel can come off of it. And I thought, wow, that's really cool. Like the more you hit it, the more stuff comes off, and all the weak points. And you've seen the trailer for the game though, right?
Yeah, the first one they showed back at, what was it, E3, I think?
It was E3, yeah, and it reminded me kind of like a, I don't know, like a Native American kind of, but in the future, if that makes sense. It was very cool, and you see a lot of that in the HUD and stuff, like how you see a lot of this culture's stuff all over it. And I don't know, I thought it was really cool. So yeah, go check it out later. It's the Horizon Zero Dawn gameplay walkthrough, and it's like 8 minutes long, and it's just kind of the developers or whatnot talking about what you're actually doing in the game. And I think we need more things like this, because they show these CGI trailers and it's like, what did I get out of that? I got a cool movie experience, but what's the game about? This shows you. This is like, here's what you're doing. It's like Skyrim, but with robot dinosaurs. So you can't get better than that.
Nice.
Oh yeah. But yeah, we got some more news here. Gravity Rush 2 new gameplay trailer showcases co-op boss fights.
Yeah, and they did announce that this will also be a PlayStation exclusive.
Yeah. I never really got into the Gravity Rush series.
No, I didn't either, really.
Yeah.
I mean, this looked cool, but like that's. I may grab that from Redbox or GameFly or something.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Let's see here. This one was a bit odd.
Yeah.
Yeah. The Uncharted 4 multiplayer trailer shows flowing combat elements, showcase as well as relics that are very weird. It reminds me of Supers in Destiny.
Here's it's funny, like, because the multiplayer, because everybody was like, well, that was interesting, and like I'm watching it and I'm like, this looks cool, what are you guys talking about? And then like he throws out a relic and it turns into like the most anime thing ever.
Right.
And like, what the hell?
Right, towards the end you see the girl who catches on fire, and I'm like, I really hope that stays in multiplayer and it's not a part of the single player.
Oh, I have no doubt that's that's only multiplayer stuff. Oh yeah.
Right. I don't want that to get into the single player, because I like how grounded, even though it is batshit crazy, I like how grounded, Uncharted is. I don't want it to turn into Metal Gear Solid or, a lot of these other franchises where it's like, let's get weird. It's like, no, let's hold back. Let's make this like an Indiana Jones Tomb Raider type experience, I guess.
Yeah, but let's not nuke the fridge, right?
Right, exactly. Yeah, let's not nuke the fridge. And yeah. I mean, I don't care if they like hint at it or if there's some you suspend some disbelief, because I guess now that I think about it, Indiana Jones gets weird. Like, it's very weird.
Well, and so does Uncharted towards the end. Like, the bosses are always just a touch supernatural in some respect.
That's true.
But they're not like extra crazy, really.
Exactly, yeah. And now that I think about it, yeah, Indiana Jones, they get into ghosts, and they get into demons, and they get into walking across invisible bridges and 2,000-year-old men, and yeah, so
yeah, like
yeah, and aliens. So it gets weird, but I don't know. I don't know. That just single player. I don't want supers and stuff. It just seems weird. Now this one I didn't see. I hope you did, so you can go into it. But the Dreams, Meaty Molecule's new title.
Yeah, it was just more of like it was kind of more of like what we saw from E3.
Okay.
It's like
Did they explain what? Because I still don't understand what it's about.
it's basically like they took the idea of creation from Little Big Planet and just kind of wrapped it in a new narrative, in a
Oh,
sense.
okay.
So I mean, like it's a really neat thing.
Oh, okay.
And and it was weird. Like I couldn't find a link to the video, like like you've got the trailers for everything else up, but I couldn't find the one like standalone for Dreams, anything other than the E3 trailer.
Oh, okay.
Unless you go back and like find it in the Paris Games Week conference. But
Oh,
maybe
okay.
it's that's probably been changed by now.
Hmm.
But I don't it looks interesting. Like I was never really a big Little Big Planet fan, but I love the idea and like
Oh,
watching like seeing the kinds of things people created. Like some people got really creative with it.
oh yeah. Little Big Planet was a huge game, and I wish it was bigger. It's I just love the creative aspect of it. It's like here's a game, here's a platform you can build on and
Exactly.
create whatever you want. And I don't know what happened somewhere along the line. It just didn't fan out. I think as much as I wanted it to. I mean, sometimes people do, as much as I say it's cool for creative, sometimes I just like playing a game. I don't want to create.
Yeah.
The Mario Maker I want to play with, but I don't like any other kind of game where you create stuff either. I played Little Big Planet. I like playing other people's creative levels. I don't like creating my own.
Yep, same here.
And I think like a lot of other games have kind of gone down this route, like Fable and stuff like that. I have no interest in it. Or that one that brought back Conkers or whatever, Bad Fur Day guy. What was that game? There was an Xbox game I think where it's like you create your levels or whatever. I'm not interested in stuff like that at all. Maybe Mario Maker. That's it. But yeah. Let's see here. We got Gran Turismo Sport, which is the next GT Gran Turismo game, announced and confirmed VR capable.
Yeah,
That's cool.
they had a bit of a VR rush at their
Yeah.
conference.
And here's the thing, and this kind of gets into the next bit of news that we have. Oh yeah, I kind of skipped it. The PlayStation VR stuff. This one I heard rumored about a week ago. The Until Dawn Rush of Blood. Basically, it's a VR game about Until Dawn. And I don't want to get into what it's about because it's kind of spoilerish if you
Yeah.
haven't played Until Dawn, so I won't talk about that. But it's a first-person shooter on rails, and that's not Until Dawn. I think that's really weird that they're just slapping that title onto it. Um, I don't want them shoehorning franchises into VR.
Well, I mean that's how it's gonna launch. Like
But
there's
yeah,
I mean like it was the
that
same
doesn't
thing.
excite.
It was the same thing with Move though. It was like, hey, here's a bunch of games and we just kind of tacked on Move capability. Like
Right.
that's why all these things fell apart. That's why nobody has Move. That's why nobody has Connect anymore. That's I mean that PlayStation VR needs to do something seriously awesome, especially if they're talking about charging like a full console price for it. I mean,
Yeah.
they better make this just ridiculously amazing.
Yeah, I mean
Because
I think they need to gear it towards experiences like the trailer. I don't know what game it was for, but basically it was where you were in space and just shit hits the fan and you got to get from one side to the other. That is cool. That's something new. That's something different. It's not uh, Jack and Daxter, but in space. Like
yeah,
it's its own thing, and I think that's what it needs to be. This Until Dawn, when I was looking at footage, they didn't need to call it Until Dawn. It should have just been called First Person Shooter in the Woods, or something like that. Or I'm clearly joking, but like they didn't have to shoehorn that franchise in, and I'm afraid that they're gonna do that with Uncharted on rails. I don't want that. I want if you're going to do an on rails shooter, make it its own thing. That's not the kind of game I want to play either, though. I don't know. I just there was one really cool one I saw, and this is a positive for them. Was the Robinson The Journey?
yeah,
Did
that
you see
looked
that?
neat. Yeah,
That looked cool, and that's one that I want to play. And it's dinosaurs. It's I don't know. It was just like dinosaurs, but in the future, or they went to the past, or something. I don't know. But it looked really, really cool. That's the kind of games they really should be pumping out. But yeah, so they had Until Dawn, Rush of Blood, Robinson the Journey, Riggs, Battlezone, and Tekken 7 announced. Now that's for VR as well.
Yeah, because they did a thing where they announced Tekken 7, and everybody was like, "Hey, another one, great!" And then like they wound around an announcement like, "And it'll be on PlayStation VR also," and everybody went, "What?"
So like I guess you have the two move sticks and you're punching.
I guess
That's cool. I
I
don't
don't know.
know. Yeah, I mean I don't know. I can't think of many games that I would want VR for. I mean, I love the idea of like that shark encounter where you're in the
Yeah,
shark tank. That's cool. Like that's a really cool idea.
they they did announce that Gran Turismo Sport will be VR capable, and that makes sense.
that makes perfect
That
sense.
totally makes sense.
Yeah, like it needs to be more experiences and not like you don't want to take a choose your own adventure story and put it in VR. I guess you could do it like I don't not a third person game. It has to be a first person game.
Right, you have
Uh,
to. You can't just.
you have
This
to be
isn't
the
something you can
character.
tack on. Like
Right.
you can do it with Gran Turismo because it's just driving. So what do you do?
Car
Well,
simulator.
you already have the camera angle from the driver's perspective, so we'll just throw that onto a VR screen. Perfect. That makes sense.
Right.
But like, how are you gonna do VR Tekken?
I guess you just hold the sticks in your hand or whatever, the two Wiimotes or whatever, or not Wiimotes, the two move things or
Yeah,
whatever
but
in
I
your
mean,
hand and
but I
track.
mean, what about specials? What about kicks? You know,
Yeah,
like,
I think they have buttons
uh,
on the controllers themselves, so
I
I
mean,
don't know.
that kind of thing worked for Punch Out on the Wii because that was it. Like you punched, that was it.
Right.
Like, but I mean, no, I don't know. I
Yeah,
need
I
convincing.
agree. I totally agree. I think it's tacked on and it's yeah. I want cool and exciting things from it, new things. Don't tack on things. If you're gonna put a franchise on it, build it from the ground up. For that, I don't want on the rail shooters, and I'm afraid that's all we're gonna get.
I'll take an on the rails shooter. Like if that's the goal. Like give me a new Time Crisis game.
Oh, that'd be
Give
cool.
me Time Crisis on VR. I'll take that. Hell, I'll take a new Silent Scope game on VR. Like that's one that's still in the arcade at the theater down here. That's how old that is.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can even do Star Wars when they have that Star Wars
Oh, are you
Invasion.
kidding? Put the Star Wars trilogy arcade. Put that on VR. Are you kidding? That's a system seller.
I mean, they're
That'll
working
do
on.
it right there.
Yeah, exactly. They're working on that where you got a lightsaber or you got a blaster or what was that old Star Wars game that was on rails? Rebel Assault or it was for PlayStation 2. Uh,
Uh, yeah. I
or was it
don't.
PlayStation 1? No, it was PlayStation 1 game. Oh man, this is gonna bother me. Oh, Dark Forces?
Dark
Or no,
Forces.
Rebel Assault 2.
Okay.
That's what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, it was a what do you call it? What are those games where they have the movie in it?
Oh,
Uh,
like yeah, I know there's a name for him.
yeah. That's what it was. It was Star Wars Rebel Assault 2: The Hidden Empire.
Yeah, okay.
And it was where it was like a was it MOV or VO whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, I don't know, it's really cool. But we'll be right back. We got still some video game news to talk about and some comics and whatnot. So we'll see you in a minute. Again, thank you for listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM, and we got some more video game news to talk about. Let's see here. We talked about Gran Turismo. We talked about the VR. Did you see the game Detroit
I
demoed at the
did.
show?
I did. I love Quantic Dream. Like I know their games get a lot of flack, especially on some of the dialogue. And it's not without merit. But like Heavy Rain was great just because like you had to know what you were getting into.
Hmm.
Like you had to know like this is a very minimal game in terms of actual gameplay. Like it was an interactive movie in a sense. And I thought it was, it had its issues, but I loved it. I really loved Beyond Two Souls. That I loved the hell out of that game. And it actually got kind of lower reviews than Heavy Rain in some places, and I can see why in a sense, but I don't know, like I found the story was way more engaging. Of course, the modeling was a lot better, just
Wow.
because it had been a few years and technology advances. But
Mhm.
so see, and those are both coming to PS4 at some point in the near future.
Yep.
They say. Um, but I know they were playable at Paris Games Week. They had a booth set up for them and everything, so that was cool. But
Mhm.
yeah, their new one, Detroit Become Human. Uh,
Mhm.
and it's funny, the lead in it was Kara from their tech demo back in 2012,
Yep. Yeah, I
and
saw that.
I just I love, not just because it's Quantic Dream, but because it looks really interesting too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it totally reminded me of like Ex Machina. Or am I saying that wrong?
Ex
Ex
Machina.
Machina. Yeah,
Yeah.
Ex Machina. That's it. Yeah, that's what it reminded me of, the whole trailer. I'm like, this reminds me of that movie, the entire thing. And it was cool in a good way. It was a really good way. Um, it's one of those CGI trailers you don't get really sense of the gameplay and whatnot, but it
Well,
looks
but that's the thing with Quantic Dream though. You could have,
right.
because their games look like that.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, you're right. But yeah, man, it looks cool. It looks interesting. I'm definitely gonna, check it out and see, closer when it comes out to if it's a pickup for me. Because I'll be honest, I haven't played the other two Quantic Dreams games at all. I haven't played
Well,
the
you'll get your chance here at some point. They keep talking about they're coming out, but like I haven't. There's been no release date or window even or anything. But
right. Yeah, no, yeah, I would definitely check them out. I don't know why I haven't before, especially with the talent they have in it. But yeah, man. We had some other news. Did you see what Alan Tudyk? Am I saying his name wrong?
Tudyk, I think, yeah.
Tudyk. Yeah, why he left Uncharted?
Yeah, he didn't like the script.
Yeah, yeah. He basically said here, I left because I decided to go in different ways with it. And so when they did it, when they changed leadership, it made a contract null and void, and I was able to take that opportunity to walk away, which was great because I got the experience of doing it. Um, he said, blah 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 blah. Yeah, we're gonna leave now. Y'all are making some weird changes. We're gonna leave. So I thought it was strange. But yeah, there's so much behind the scenes stuff with Uncharted. At this point, like some of the news is becoming bigger than the game. Like like what actually happened when all that transpired, because they apparently rewrote the entire thing and they've
Yeah,
redone the entire thing from scratch.
yeah.
So I'm curious what game could have been and what changes they did make that was like, oh, this is really weird. And then it kind of brings it back full circle. Are they putting a lot of supernatural into the game? Is that what he's talking about, where he's like, this is getting really weird?
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking he's like looked at the script of what they wanted to change it to and was like, wait, why are we going in this direction? And that, who knows? We'll find out when the game comes out. But all right, there's one bit. Oh, we got a little. Oh man, we still got some more video game news to talk about. Did you see what Kotaku reported about Nintendo and GoldenEye?
Yeah, this was weird to me.
Yeah, yeah. And who was the person who said it? I'm trying to think of the guy from Nintendo. I knew it was someone big.
Uh, uh, Hollis, what's his name? Hollis, right?
No, I thought it was Minamoto, or maybe I'm wrong. But basically, Kotaku reported Nintendo wanted GoldenEye to end with you shaking everyone's hands.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, yeah, it was Minamoto.
Okay, yeah.
That said, specifically, the violence upsetted him. At one point, there was too much of up close killing, and he found it a little bit too horrible. End quote. I don't think I did anything. Oh, and then Hollis says, I don't think I did anything with that input. But his second point was that he felt the game was too tragic with all the killing. He suggested that it might be nice if at the end of the game you got to shake hands with all of your enemies in the hospital.
Yeah, this is where I was glad that a developer would just kind of say, "Okay, thanks for the notes," and then promptly threw them in the trash.
Exactly. And another point, and I didn't put here in the notes, is that he suggested that maybe it was like a film where you see the credits, you see the actors, and then it's almost like a stage play so that the audience and the kids knows it's just not real. And then it made me think, we know it's not real. It's a video game.
Yeah.
Like, we understand these are characters in a play. You don't have to go over, it's like that's a little too much. And so yeah, stick with what you know. Stick with the cute, fun Nintendo games. It's fun if that's like that, you know what I mean? But when it comes to GoldenEye, it just let it be. And it's a
Yeah.
good thing they did because it came out amazing.
Oh, did you see Nintendo's supposed to announce their first smartphone game tomorrow?
No, I did not. Of
Yeah.
course, it's gonna be tomorrow.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, we'll be talking about that next week. What are your bets on? It's gonna be Pokemon. It's gonna be Mario.
Well, I mean, we already know we're getting a Pokemon game.
That's
My money is on something that's like a small, like one of their big franchises, but something more like, I don't think it's gonna be Mario. It's gonna be more in line with like F-Zero or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that could be Ice Climbers.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah, yep. Oh yeah. But yeah, man, we got some more news here. Sony confirmed there are going to be no more first party games on the Vita coming in the near future. So that kind of sucks.
Which means
Um,
that the Vita is dead.
yeah, Vita's dead. It's been dead for a while. It's still a fantastic console. I still swear by it. You got all the PS1 classics, the PS2 classics. Oh man, it's such a cool system to have. I freaking love it. I love going to my family member's house, sitting on their couch. We're watching a movie. I'm doing family time. I pull out the Vita and I get to play Destiny. Like that, I get to do bounties. I get to do whatever. Now you probably want to play Crucible with it, but I can run not raids, but I can run Nightfalls. I can do little stupid missions. I love that, and that's what I do. Anytime I go to a family member's house, I visit and I do my family thing. But there's points where they're just watching TV and I just pull it out and play it. So, but yeah, so I don't know. All right, we got some, and one last thing for video games is this was a survey that was sent out by Sony a few months back. So none of this is confirmed or anything like that, but basically they asked people, what would you like in 4.0, the new update they're going to do? And this is a list of some of the things they had. The first and foremost was change PSN names. The other ones were notifications when friends come online, which would be super cool. PS2 classics, folders, PS1 classics, appear offline mode, which would be super cool. Hide/completely remove items from library. For example, demos. Like I have that Destiny demo that's just sitting there for no reason. Delete items from your library. Filtering options in game libraries. For example, installed only, download only, and genre. Download avatars on PS4, which would be really cool. Custom backgrounds, which would be really cool. Store with list. Increased max number of people in a party. And I think that is much needed. We do raids and whatnot, and you got 6 people in there. Other people might join, and only a few other people might be able to join, and that's it. I like more parties. I like playing with a lot of friends now. So, what do you think? Which one of these do you like that you want to see change?
I want my classics back. That's my big thing. I want to be able to go in and say, hey, I have this library of classics that I've purchased for PS3. I want to be able to re-download them on my PS4.
Yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. That would be cool. Yeah, no, I totally agree. That's probably the thing I'm most excited about. Is the PS1, PS2 classics. I want to be able to buy them. I didn't buy a lot on the PS3. I did, I guess. But yeah, I want to be able to. Yeah, I guess I did. I do have a lot of PlayStation 3 games that I bought and I can't play on my PlayStation 4.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think the biggest one for apparently according to the survey was change PlayStation ID names, because we've talked about this before. People they have their names. They're just so bad.
Yeah.
And they do it when they're 13. They're just in a different mind space. But yeah, it's bad. What we're going to do, because that's video game news, we're going to get into some comics. Before we take a break, we're going to do just a few things got my 1 or 2 things for news. And then when we come back, we'll talk about our 2 books of the week, Colder and Afterlife with Archie. But let's see here. Let's get into some comic news here. You take the first one here.
Okay, well, Marvel announced it's going to do a new standalone Punisher series. It's going to be a new Punisher book. It's going to be written by Becky Cloonan, who did Gotham Academy,
Hmm.
which is interesting because I remember that was more of a I don't want to say a kid's book, but it was definitely aimed toward a younger audience, I think.
Hmm.
Um, and with the Steve Dillon is going to do the art, and he did the art for Punisher Max, so that's going to be awesome.
Oh yeah, yeah. See, let's see here. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna read it. I'm trying to think of the last Punisher book that I read, and I can't. I think Punisher Max was probably it.
Yeah, it's a good one to do. The last Punisher comic that they did wasn't bad.
Yeah.
The one they did before the Secret Wars. I mean, it was fine. I didn't read a whole lot of it, but what I did, I enjoyed.
Oh yeah. Yeah, man. This other bit of news that I thought was odd. Did you see that Marvel is not? I don't know what they're making her, but apparently they're changing Squirrel Girl, not from a mutant to something else.
Really?
It seems like we're getting a trend of them trying to take X-Men mutant characters and changing them and making them inhuman or whatever, just so they can use them, in movies or TV shows.
Well, I mean, that's their right.
But I'm curious moving forward how that's going to happen for the movie franchises. So like Fox owns the rights to mutant characters. If Marvel writes them and says, "Hey, suddenly they're not," they can't just suddenly get the rights to them, right?
Well, and I wonder if it delineates specific characters. Think about this. Think about Scarlet Witch and Quicksilver.
Well, see, that's the thing is that was already done way prior to them changing them in the comics. That was already a done deal where they were in the gray area. I think there was two or three people in the gray area that both franchises owned. So that was done before the change in the comic world. They did it in the comic world to try to so people, oh, okay, this is why they're in both. But Squirrel Girl, I guess, is a good example of this is happening after the change. So like she's a mutant and everything we've known about, when her debut with I know she told Iron Man I'm a mutant or whatever, she's been a mutant. Now she's not. This is, who owns the rights to her. So I don't know. I think that's weird. Um
It's going to be interesting to see that like moving forward. Cause
yeah, that's what I mean. Like the smoke, but if there's smoke, there's got to be fire. Like why are they doing that? Are they trying to plan for, some sort of movie or TV show or like web series or something?
yeah, we're going to get a Squirrel Girl spinoff from Agents of Shield.
Yeah, no, I mean, kids. I think kids would love her.
It would
Like,
make a great kids show. It really would.
yeah, it really would, like a cartoon show or something like that too. But yeah, man, we'll talk about some more comic book stuff when we get back. You're listening to We Geek podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek podcast on the N.FM, and yeah, we'll look at some comic book stuff now. We got pretty much two books to talk about here. We got Colder and Afterlife with Archie, and I don't have okay, yeah. So we have I have in front of me now Colder, which was Dark Horse, right?
Right.
Right. Story by Tobin and Juan Ferrara. I don't know. I'm bad with names. We all know that. But yeah, man. When now this was a book that you picked, and this was one of those books where you pick a series that you like for whatever reason. I pick a series that I like for whatever reason that meant something in all the comics and whatever we read. Why did you pick Colder?
I had seen it. I had seen like an article of like best like Halloween like best comics to read around Halloween or something.
Oh, okay.
And this was on that list.
Okay.
And I thought I've absolutely never heard of this,
Yeah.
so let's check it out.
Yep.
And I know like the other week when I recommended it, I swore up and down this was an Image comic because it reads like an Image comic
Yeah, it
to
does.
me.
It totally does.
And so I didn't know it was I'd forgotten it was Dark Horse because I was so into it. I was like, it's Image. Like, no, it's Dark Horse. I was like, okay. But
Yeah.
but
Oh, yeah.
like, and then when I read it, I was like, wow, this is creepy.
Yeah, it's extremely creepy. The bad guy kind of reminded me of like what I imagine Jared Leto's Joker's gonna be like.
It's funny. I had the same kind of thought.
Yeah, the whole time, like the hair and everything, like it's actually I cut my hair like that recently, but yeah, like it really reminded me of like kind of the vibe that they're going with Jared Leto's Joker that I've seen in the trailer and whatnot. He's just crazy. He's absolutely batshit crazy. The book was really weird. Like I guess at some parts I didn't really know what was going on. He gets his powers of being like ice cold, right?
Well, that's his curse.
That's
Like
his curse.
that's
Yeah.
the cost of doing, because what Declan can do is he can kind of go in and fix the crazy in people,
That's it.
but that makes him colder.
Right, right. That's yeah. Yeah, it was yeah, it was a strange book. The monsters and stuff were just crazy in it.
Yeah.
And it was gory as hell. One of my favorite parts is where he's like inside of the person. Like the guy comes up to him, like the homeless guy comes off the street. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
he starts talking to him, and it's almost like Beetlejuice to me in a way. Like it just reminded me of Beetlejuice, where he's like, I don't forget what he says, but he's coming through the guy's mouth, and then he takes his hands through the upper and lower jaw, and then rips the head, and just goes through the body. And yeah, I don't know, man. I thought it was odd, but it was cool. Is this like an ongoing series?
No, that was it. It's what, like 5 issues?
Oh, okay. I could have sworn there was another volume or something like that.
I don't think so. I think this was the only one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, man. So yeah, colder. Let's see here. Trying to think. I'm surprised it didn't go on. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
But I guess that's one of those things where they pick up series and they only do a few of it, kind of like the one we did a few weeks ago, the I Kill Giants. They tell one story and that's it.
And that's it. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, do you think this could ever be made into a TV show or anything like that?
Uh, I don't know. I doubt it.
Yeah. I don't know. I think it has potential. It's just really weird. Let's see here. All right. Was there anything else you want to say about it, or?
No. I mean, I would recommend it, especially because it's a limited run. Like this is a story that if you dragged it out, I could see like it could go both ways with this. Like this could be really interesting, or it could kind of get fairly stale.
Yeah,
And I was glad they kept
that's
it
true.
to just 5 issues in that respect.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. No, I totally agree. Another cool part is where they take her from the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they just pull her up through the ceiling or whatever. Like, I don't know. It was really weird. But I mean, sometimes I like reading comics like that are not all the same. It's not all superhero stuff. It's, Marvel, DC, or Walking Dead. It was bizarre. So I don't know. The imagery was probably my favorite thing about the whole book.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just
It represents insanity in a really, really interesting way.
yeah, yeah, totally, absolutely. I'm trying to think before he became cold. What he was in like he was in a coma state or
He was kind of
it
uh
was
I,
crazy. Yeah,
he was I don't remember if like he was in sort of a vegetative state, but I know it was like
that's what it was.
he was in a back then I guess it would have been an institution.
That's what it was. Yeah.
And
Oh yeah, yeah. It totally reminded me of the Joker the whole time.
yeah.
But yeah, man. So we got. You want to go into Afterlife with Archie?
Yeah, you want to talk about creepy. Holy cow.
Oh yeah.
That's
And
fantastic. I recommend this to anybody. Like if you
I'm
want
so
a terrifyingly just like, I mean, this is the kind of creepy that makes your bones shake. Like
yes.
it was
And
just ah.
oh man, I'm so
Huh.
glad you liked it. Oh yeah. Yeah, dude. This took the. This is really smart. I don't know who took over the Archie franchise. I'm trying to think of who it was. It was not too long ago. It was a few years back, and basically he was like, "This comic has been coming out since the 30s. It is the longest probably running comic in history,
And it's exactly the same thing.
and it's the same thing." and whoever it was, and I hate that I can't think of who took over the publishing or whatnot, but he's like, we need to change some things. Let's make some characters gay. Let's do some crazy stuff with the story. Let's introduce them to not Punisher, but to
Predator.
Alien Predator. Let's put them in a scary telling. Like, let's take these characters and shake it up a bit, and that's exactly what they did. And man, I couldn't love this series more. When I was listening to other podcasts, and they were talking about how they started reading this book called Afterlife with Archie, and they were like, I know what you're thinking. Why is he reading Archie? It couldn't be more fun of a book to read. And this is what got me reading the new Archie stuff. Because I was like, I know what my introduction to them is this scary story, and so going into the regular Archie comics, I kind of got an idea of the characters and their relationships and whatnot, so it was cool going into that. But this, it takes so many different elements from different horror franchises. Like, it opens up with basically like Cujo, or is it Cujo? Who's the dog?
Yeah, you're right.
Right, or like Pet Sematary, pretty much.
It's more Pet Sematary, yeah.
Right, yeah, exactly. It's Pet Sematary, and then it gets into Sabrina, and it gets just crazy. I could see an Afterlife with Archie TV show.
Well, I mean,
like,
basically, like, what they did is like, here's what happens if a kids show meets The Walking Dead.
Yes, exactly.
With kind of like an Army of Darkness twist.
Oh yeah,
like
absolutely.
It's creepy. The art style is magnificent. That's what sells it. Like, the story itself is great, and it would do fine, but the art style is just, it's perfect. It's absolutely spot on.
Yep, the dark scenes, or the a lot of orange and black, and this is the best Halloween book. So if you haven't read it yet, go read Afterlife with Archie, especially because it's Halloween. This is a book that you could start reading at midnight, and it's creepy, and it just kind of touches on it touches on so many different horror genres, like Carrie, the zombies, obviously, even like Lovecraft, towards the end.
Yeah, they get they, especially in issue 7.
Yes.
Because it's a weird, like, it's kind of ongoing-ish, but there hasn't been a new, like, it's up to 8, but like they haven't done a new issue in like a couple months, I don't think.
Oh, is there 8? Because I've only read like 6 or 7 of them.
Yeah, they're up to 8, and 7 and 8 get more Lovecraftian.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's interesting because, like, it works. It's not just kind of like thrown in there. It's like, well, we introduced Sabrina back in the beginning, so what do we do with witches? Well,
right.
we introduce this thing, and it's just it's so well done, and it's just creepy.
Yeah, it really is, and like you said, man, the artwork is just, it's phenomenal. And this, if this is any, and this is like we kind of talked about before, this kind of thing is what I wanted to see out of Archie. If you enjoyed this, if you read this and enjoyed this, I can't stress enough, go try Archie number 1, 2, 3, or whatever. They even did a Jughead. The Jughead is his own one. Wasn't that big of a fan of it, but the Archie series, it's well written, just like this is. If you like the writing of this and whatnot, it's actually entertaining. And when that's the thing I thought about when we talked about a while ago. They're doing a Rivendell show, right? Or
a Riverdale show, yeah.
Riverdale, that's it, yeah. I could totally see it. I could absolutely see them doing a TV show about these characters, and I could totally see them doing a Halloween episode kind of like this, where the zombies attack or whatever. Like this, I don't know. I thought it was really super cool, and this is, like I said, this is a really good jumping on point for anyone who hasn't read Archie, where you could read this and then jump into the main series and totally understand the characters' relationships, because they go over all of them. They go into detail about Betty, Veronica, Jughead, and all their friends. So I thought it was so cool. Especially one of my favorite parts is where Jughead gets into the goes to the dance.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're like, that's when it was right before all hell broke loose. And they they don't know really what to do, and then they see him and he attacks and everything. But yeah, man, so that's Afterlife with Archie. Our comic for next week, we didn't really talk about it. I haven't posted the poll thing, but I think it's your turn. Is there any? I hate to put you on the spot, but if you want to take a break, actually, we'll come back. We got a lot of things to review, so we'll kind of push everything to that. But if during our break, think about what comic we should read for the next week. And yeah, we'll read it and come back. So I'll give you time to think about that. We're gonna take a break. Again, you're listening to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. See you in a minute. Welcome back to We Geek Podcast on the N.FM. And yeah, man, we got a little bit of show left for you. We're gonna do some reviews, some TV shows, maybe squeeze in some comic books. I don't know if we got time. But yeah, let's first actually talk about the comic we're going to be reading next week. And that one is going to be a little one called Nailbiter. We kind of wanted to stay with the Halloween theme and get something creepy in there. And this is it's Nailbiter. I believe it came out last year, 2014, by Joshua Williamson, art by Mike Henderson, and cover by Mike Henderson. Joshua Williamson, I'm not sure which other ones he did. Trying to think. I think he did Birthright, Ghosted. I'm not sure what other ones he did, but yeah. So anyway, I'll just explain kind of what Nailbiter's about. And this is kind of just like right off the book. Its catchphrase basically is, "Where do all the serial killers come from?"
Interesting.
Right. So it's, where do all the serial killers come from, and why has Buckaroo, Oregon, given birth to 16 of the most vile serial killers in the world? Yep.
Interesting.
Yep. NSA agent Nicholas Finch needs to solve that mystery in order to save his friend, and he'll have to team up with the infamous Edward Nailbiter Warren to do so. And so it says Joshua Williams and Mike Henderson deliver a mystery that mixes Twin Peaks with the horror of Seven. Collects Nailbiter 1 through 5. So yeah, and it's $7.99 digital, $9.99 print. So that's what we're going to be reading this week. I don't want to stay in that creepy theme. And this is an ongoing series. They have 3 volumes out so far. So
nice.
yeah, so I've heard nothing but good things. So I think we're going to be in for a treat with this one.
Excellent.
Absolutely. So yeah, we're going to be reading that this week. And yeah, I mean, let's get into some reviews. Before we get into the movie reviews, I just want to say, go read the Star Wars comics. They are so good. Chewie was amazing. The Chewbacca comic, all the Star Wars titles, I've just been absolutely enjoying. And I don't know what comics are coming out this week, but we got a lot of reviews to talk about, so we'll get into them.
Yeah.
Let's get into Walking Dead, man. And we're gonna first say we're in spoiler territory.
Oh yeah, huge spoilers here.
Huge spoiler. This isn't just like, oh, I'll listen and be, what? No, this is, if you haven't seen The Walking Dead, just come back to us later, download the podcast later, come visit this conversation later, because you don't want to be spoiled. All right, so have you left the room yet? Holy crap.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
my god. My first thoughts when I saw this was, wow, so what does this mean?
It means he's not dead.
Well, yeah, I heard your rumor and I heard the internet. I hope that's not true. I hope he is dead.
Nah.
Because I want the show to have the balls to do this. I want the show to be different from the comics. I want the show to now make everyone go, what's next? Because if he's alive, then that shows they don't have the balls.
Well,
hold on. Let me finish this thought real fast.
Okay.
What it tells me, I want them to go, we can kill any character at any time, no matter how big they are. And if they do that, then he's dead. I also want them to be able to detour from the comics, because this is going to get into the spoiler territory for the comics. He dies in a very graphic way, in a very it changes the comic moving forward entirely in issue 100 with what happens to Glenn in the comics. And this means that if he's dead now, that thing should happen later, but with someone else. And I love that. Who's it going to be next? Because I don't want him to be alive, then whoever comes, and I won't get into that spoiler territory, and then it's him again. I'd be like, no, I want him dead now. We already did it. We're already grieving. We have already gone over it. Let's move forward. But yeah, let you talk. I want to hear what you have to say.
Here's my thing. I think we know the show will do something like this. We know that they will go this route. And now here's the thing. If this sticks, if this is what happened, and if any of like the 8 conspiracy theories that I am desperately clinging to don't pan out,
right?
Then okay, fine. Then it happened, and then I'll cry. Because I'm still in denial. I refuse to believe it.
Right, and that's cool. That's what a show's supposed to make you feel.
Exactly.
The fact that you're feeling that is fantastic.
Oh, totally. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so, I want them to keep on to that. The last major character that, to me, was major, like, from the beginning, we had Shane, we had Lori. This is really the big one. We had Tyrese and stuff like that. We've had some major people die, but not like this.
Right.
Glenn was his number 2 guy, or his number 1 guy, I should say. He
Pretty
was
much.
his go-to. He was his right-hand man as much as Daryl is. There's really a close niche group of people right now that are the main stars. This was one of them, and I knew that it wasn't going to go down like the way in the comics. There was so many red herrings, especially because Robert Kirkman on a televised show on Comedy Central. And they said, tell us something that's going to happen that we don't know about yet. And he literally verbatim said what happens to Glenn in the comics.
Yeah.
I knew that moment, they're never going to do that on the TV show. He just spoiled it.
Well, and I mean, I think that's – here's my thing, and this is what I mean. This means either 2 things going forward. Either this sticks, and so when we introduce this other character down the road who's still going to bludgeon somebody to death.
Yes.
At some point, it's gonna be somebody else. It's gonna and well, obviously, but like it's gonna be another big character.
Yep.
Or this doesn't stick, and it does become kind of a fake out. And I know people will be disappointed by that, but then it sets up that will happen. And we go through it all over again. Like, it saves you just to break your heart a second time. And I know some people wouldn't like that, and they wouldn't like the storytelling of it. I think it's a magnificent idea. I think it's even more heartbreaking to see we thought he was gone. We thought there's no way. But he made it. And not in, like, a really... And it has to be done right. Like, it can't just be some Deus Ex Machina way, like Lindelof said.
Or it's not him. He survives, they get to the moment, this is about to happen, and then he kills someone else.
Right.
And Glenn is still alive. They could go in all directions here.
Yeah.
I mean, and you know what? I'm actually... When I saw the conspiracy theories and I saw, you don't see him being ripped apart, you don't see him being ripped apart. And my thought was, well, of course not. They're not showing that because it's a TV show. It's easier for them to show it the way they did than him being his guts ripped out. But I understand the conspiracy theories that blood's all over him, guts are all over him. The zombies won't know he's there underneath him. Eventually, they probably won't smell him. I love that idea. I love the thought of him somehow escaping. The fact that he is in IMDb in every episode, moving forward. The fact that there's some other behind the scenes stuff that really do hint that he's not dead. So I'm open to that idea.
Right.
I kind of think it is a bait and switch, which I guess is cool, but.
I love the idea of saying, of putting us through this and saying, oh no, we can do this. And then, they pull that back. They say, nope, he's actually alive. And yeah, some people will be disappointed. They'll think, oh, well, they don't, they're not really going to do that. And so when we get to like the end of this season, which is where I think the next big bad is coming in.
Yeah.
And that's how they introduce him, towards the end of that episode, we get that scene from issue 100 where where it's like, oh yeah, you thought, oh, well, he's safe. We got this. He's at least sticking around for a little while longer, and then it's not, and then at the end of the season, boom, out he goes.
Well, see, this is, and that's why I don't think they would do that. I think if he is alive, it would have that suspense at the end of that episode. Everyone, because now not only people like us who read the comic know, we told other people that don't read the comic, oh, this is how we died in the comic, because it's not going to happen. Well, I'll spoil it for you because it's not going to happen. That's going to kind of suck going into that episode when not only the comic book readers know it, but everyone else knows that that's how he dies. I think it would be even better if they go, nope. Oh, it's someone else. It's, his girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
That would be like, oh shit. Like everyone take a step back. Everyone thinking it's Glenn that's going to die this very moment. Nope. Sidestep. We'll kill him.
Could do.
Oh God, it could be Daryl. That would be a bigger impact. Daryl dies, I'm out. Pretty much. But
yeah.
Think about it. That would I hate saying that, and I don't want to jinx it, but that if I was sitting in that writer's room, they would say who's going to have the biggest impact here.
Daryl.
That would be Daryl. And so it's Glenn was the Daryl of the comics too. So like it's going to be rough. I don't want any of them to die, especially those two. But yeah, man, it was such a good episode.
Oh, it was. This season has been awesome.
Yeah, it's been one of my favorites so far. We're what, 4 or 5 episodes in?
4. No, 3.
3, and they're all good. They're all so good. Everyone's hitting it. There's not one character I don't like. The only character I didn't like was the one that Glenn kept saving or whatever. He was,
who shot himself in the head after he ran out of bullets.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how they're gonna explain that. I saw that. I didn't go back and look. I didn't know.
Go back and watch it. Like you see, as Glenn's putting his gun away before he climbs on the dumpster, you hear the click of Nicholas trying to shoot, and he's out.
Does he have another gun on him?
They don't show. They don't show him reload or pull a new gun or anything.
Well, then that's easy to say. Let's just say he had another gun in his back pocket.
I don't think he did.
We don't know.
We don't know. There's a lot of ambiguity in that scene, and it's intentional. It's absolutely intentional. I think that Nicholas is having a breakdown. That's my theory. Like that's the one I like, is that he's completely freaked out, and this is where he breaks. So what we're seeing, like he kills himself and takes Glenn with him, the one guy who's been trying to save him through all this.
So you don't think it's real? Like you saw a dream or something?
I don't think that. I think that everything up to where they climb on the dumpster is exactly real. I think after that is Nicholas has cracked.
Oh,
and that's what we're seeing. That's what I think anyway.
Yeah, no, I mean that I guess you could easily rewrite it and say that never happened. Yeah, no, I get, yeah. See, I thought when he shot himself, I thought, okay, this is a chance for him to fall and all the other zombies to come.
Yeah.
And eat him and him get away. But yeah, we've talked a lot about The Walking Dead. We only got a few minutes left. What did you think of Flash?
King Shark. I can't believe they put King Shark in a freaking Flash episode.
I don't. We got a big gorilla last season. And now, yeah, they went there.
They did. They totally did.
They're not holding any punches in this. It came out of nowhere. I was like, is that a fucking shark? And and I remember from the comics from the Suicide Squad,
yeah,
I was like, why is there what the hell is it? You can see the Flash is just like, what?
I love the way that they kind of backdoored it through the whole episode though. Like she's investigating this giant man shark and he's like, nope, sorry, it doesn't happen. And then just out of nowhere at the end, it was awesome.
Oh yeah, she's like, it's real. Oh, I didn't even put that together.
Yeah.
Oh wow, yeah. She's like, oh my god, it's real.
It's real. Yeah.
Yeah, that's so awesome. Yeah, I thought that was one of the coolest moments, and and then of course, who saved him?
Yeah, I'd say Harrison Wells from Earth 2.
Well, from Earth 2.
Oh man,
the Flash is, and some of my friends are now getting into the Flash, and my brother is too, and I'm just like, just wait, man. I love how they're not holding any punches. Arrow holds punches. They try to make things more realistic and gritty or whatever. Where this is just like, we're getting wacky. We're doing this. We're going out there.
Yeah.
We got Earth 2s. We got sharks, and it's nuts. And I love every moment of it.
Oh man.
Oh yeah. What about Arrow though? What'd you think of it?
Arrow's interesting. They're moving in this direction. Like it was kind of already spoiled with all the Legends of Tomorrow stuff. So I'm curious with White Canary and everything. So I'm curious to see what happens beyond this.
Right. Now, refresh my memory. Who's all in Legends of Tomorrow?
Oh, it's Adam and White Canary and Firestorm and Captain Cold, and I don't know if there's anybody else or not.
Well, no, see, that's what we were introduced into the Flash, the new Firestorm. Is it the old Firestorm?
No, I don't think so, because it's Martin Stein that they show.
Oh, that's okay. All right. Yeah, and so I mean, we both. I saw Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. You saw Doctor Who. What'd you think of Doctor Who?
I love it. I'm down. I'm kind of warming towards the whole everything's a two-parter thing now because they're telling great stories.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Agents of Shield was good. You got to see what she was like on that planet, what life was like.
Okay.
And I won't go into any other detail besides that and what happened and if she saw someone there, if people are there, if they're not. So you get to see what happened while she was on that planet. And so yeah. And Supergirl, we've already talked about it months ago. It was good. I'm going to see more episodes, but we got to go. So go to our Facebook group, We Geek Podcast. We have shirts. Go buy our shirts. We got first edition. I think we got like just a limited edition. I think there may be like 20 of them. So grab them while you can. Again, go to We Geek Podcast on our Facebook group. Listen to us like you are now on the N.FM. Go like and share their Facebook group as well. WeGeekPodcast@gmail.com is our email. Our Twitters is at WeGeekPodcast and at Adam Estep and
At the Logan Witt.
there you go. So, yep, go ahead and check us out. We'll be back next week. Again, we're going to be reading Nailbiter this week, and we'll see all of you guys later. Captain?
Captain.